Welcome everybody. We have a very special guest today, John Croteau, who's CEO and President of MACOM. Welcome, John.
Thank you very much.
I thought we'd just start by maybe if you can tell us a little bit about yourself and your experience in the industry.
Sure. I spent actually the bulk of my career at Analog Devices. Worked at every one of their operating divisions throughout the course of my career, over 20 years actually. And then I spent 4 years with NXP, 3 years of those living and working over in Europe. So it was a great experience. And now I've been on board at MACOM for about 18 months.
Wow, not too long. Just getting comfortable, huh? Well,
Yeah,
MACOM's
exactly.
gone through a lot of changes in the past decade, some changes in ownership and then an IPO a couple years ago. So maybe you could tell us where MACOM stands today and kind of what their primary focus is in markets.
Sure. Yeah, after John Ocampo bought MACOM, I think it was in the spring of 2009 that they had closed, he brought in his team from Sorenza and really stabilized the company financially, modernized the industrial base and the supply model and so on. And I inherited a very strong, financially well-founded company, and I was brought in really to drive the next phase of the company, which was getting back into the growth mode. They had begun reinvesting for the 3 years prior to my joining, so I'm really the beneficiary of that, and then providing the vision on the go-forward basis.
Great. And so there was some recent news that you had purchased Mindspeed and Nitronics.
Yeah.
So kind of interesting how those fit into your portfolio.
Yeah, Mindspeed was interesting. I mean, including me, it wasn't intuitively obvious when we first started looking at Mindspeed. Not a traditional RF and microwave
Yeah,
company.
more on the optical side.
Yeah, so we viewed 100 gig optical as one of the real growth areas that we wanted to establish a preeminent position. And based upon my background with NXP, I understood a lot of the silicon germanium requirements and different operations model, a lot of different technology. So being able to bring SIGI into the company, I knew it had to be done inorganically. So it's really a complementary position, led by the desire to establish a great position in optical, but there's all these secondary benefits bringing their technology and their sales channel to bear in our business.
Great. And how about Nitronics?
Oh, well, I'm a big advocate of Ganon silicon technology, Ganon technology in general, to be honest. One of the businesses I ran for NXP was the LDMOS business, so I know a little bit about RF power.
Yep. High power.
Yeah, exactly. And John Ocampo and I shared the vision that Ganon silicon was clearly the next generation, and I think that's proven. I think technically, under John Ocampo, Nitronics has now technically proven that fact. We've achieved efficiency levels and performance levels that really put it on par with Ganon silicon carbide. And what remained was to be able to put into place a supply chain and industrial model in terms of capacity and cost structure that could actually scale it into the mainstream.
Yeah, and related to that, you had a recent announcement about some IP licensing, and so you licensed that technology to IQE, which is a epi manufacturer. How does that play into the commercialization of GaN?
Sure, there's the broader issue that if Ganon silicon is going to go mainstream, certainly I realize, and John and the whole company realizes, that it can't be a single source from one company anywhere in the industry. So licensing is a key ingredient in enabling the industry, not just ourselves, but doing it in a very controlled manner with proper diligence in terms of intellectual property. The first step of that was the critical issue is getting materials cost structure under control. Whether it's Ganon silicon carbide or Ganon silicon, I mean, there's negligible capacity compared to what the opportunity space is. The cost structure is about 5 times too high.
Yeah.
So, there's a whole issue of getting the right capital structure and capacity investments from someone who, frankly, is proven capable of doing that. I think IQE was the, obvious choice for the first partner.
Right. And so they kind of just the first step in this whole process of commercialization?
Absolutely. The first step, you got to get the materials cost in line. In next steps, you got to get the wafer fabs and wafer processing in line. We've got 8-inch wafers in line, Ganon silicon in process with one of the candidate factories. But we don't anticipate just one. We're going to be enabling multiple. Certainly MACOM is a primary channel, but there are certain parts of the market that MACOM can't reach. So we'll be executing licensing programs to be able to enable those.
Great. So maybe you can just give us a rough idea of what some of the points you have for the next 12 months. What are some of the emphasis and market applications that you're going to go after?
Sure. Well, I think one of the great things that Nitronics brought with it is a superb team of engineers. They've never lacked for that down in North Carolina, so we've got a great team. We're going to double that team very quickly. They also bring with it a great portfolio of off-the-shelf products. One of the things they did under John's ownership for the past 18 months is they started building out commercial products. So one of the great things we inherited with the acquisition is now we've got a great portfolio of products that we can sell. So it's not just the promise of Ganon silicon, it's the reality of products. So I think we got to deliver those products, get them built into the sales channels, broaden the portfolio, and it's not just for power applications. And we see Ganon silicon not just against LDMOS. In fact, LDMOS secondarily to Ganon silicon as a replacement for gas. Right. So we believe we can drive the cost structure down 3 times lower than even the highest volume gas.
Wow.
Leveraging the silicon side of the industry.
Well, it's an impressive story, and I really thank you for sharing it with us today, and thanks for taking the time to talk with us.
Thank you very much.